Hello, everybody. My name's Cole. I have the first vlog. You already know that. But this is going to be my first overall vlog, not vlog. Just going to go over just sort of a few things from about the first half of my time here. Uh, I had the first vlog last week. Well, no, should vlog, not vlog. But anyway, uh, I'll just go into more general stuff. The last time was a bit more of an overall view of sort of my program, my time here. I figured I'd just use this to go over small things. I don't know. I honestly don't have a plan for this, but I'll just go into a bit of stuff and sort of experience so far. Uh, let's focus more on culture, more of like my experience so far is kind of like from comparing the U.S. to sort of my time here. Because honestly, I thought there would be a lot more, at least a lot more of a culture shock than there was. I've honestly had a pretty, I wouldn't say easy time, like sort of adapting here, but everything is sort of generally easy to live. Uh, I guess the main difficulty I will say is that I've been studying simplified Chinese, but obviously Taiwan uses traditional, and that's sort of been the main thing I've had difficulty with because I thought it's something that I didn't really think about. I thought it wouldn't be that much difficult to sort of tell things apart because some of the characters look relatively similar, but especially like when I'm going out to order food and things, it's it was a lot more difficult than I originally thought to be like, yeah, I don't actually know what this means because it's a completely different character, so I can't just like see something and it's kind of a whole process where I take out my phone and I'm like, okay, let's do this traditional to simplified, and then I could read it. It's not much of an issue, but it's definitely like as I'm walking by the street, I kind of have to plan where I'm going to be because I kind of like look awkward like a tourist, like using Google Translate. It's kind of a bit funny. I'm a bit awkward in that way, but that's a whole other thing. Uh, kind of another thing was just sort of the layout of the city because at least in the U.S., I haven't lived in a city very long. Besides from my about year in D.C., I lived in sort of the Arizona suburbs, and it's basically you need a car to get everywhere. In D.C. was pretty different. At least the only cities I've been to before was stuff like New York, but that was like short, vacations or seeing like a friend or something. This was definitely like a more long-term thing where I was staying there, and at least at first glance, compared to like the U.S., where you don't really want to be out at night, at least any city as far as I'm aware of. Taipei, which is where I am. I probably should have mentioned that first, but yeah, I'm in Taipei, uh, and honestly, it's pretty great. Everyone I've met is super nice. Everyone's kind of pretty open. The streets like aren't typically that busy. Uh, the main reason is kind of the weather, which I will probably say beforehand. That's definitely the biggest downside of visiting Taiwan. The weather has not been kind. I'm from Arizona. I'm used to like summer heat, but the humidity, I don't know, it's just because I'm not used to it, but it definitely hits different, and it's a lot more difficult to go out sort of during the day than I thought it would be. But be that as it's may, you could still like go out and do stuff. You're just gonna have to take a shower every time you come back, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely something to consider. But I was kind of rambling on about sort of the silly out of the city before, and I'll go a bit back into that. As I was already saying, it's a lot safer than the U.S. Like it's sort of a place you can sort of be out at any time of day, not really have to fear. It could be different, like a different part of the city, but everywhere I've sort of walked, I've kind of felt like completely safe, but completely calm, which isn't something like I get in the U.S. Like obviously the U.S. isn't like danger zone or anything, but it's a lot different, especially the transit. All the transit is like super convenient. You can basically go anywhere you want, which is really nice. Uh, and sort of all the different alleyways just have shops everywhere, which is kind of really fun because most days I'll just be like, I'm hungry. I'm just gonna go out for a walk and I'll see what I can find because basically every street corner there's basically something there you can go. Now is it best food? Maybe not, but that's another thing. All the food here is actually extremely affordable, especially if you're from the U.S. and you're kind of used to higher food prices. Obviously, the serving size is a bit smaller, but that's a different issue. You can find places you like. Uh, I have rambled on for a bit. I don't know exactly how long it's supposed to be, so I'll probably bring it into it in here. But at least first thoughts, because I'm about most of my way through the trip. I think I have about 3 weeks left. I think 3, 4, about that. Uh, but definitely first impressions. Mm, I really like it here. Like again, as I said, the only negative is the weather, and it actually feels really easy, at least for someone who's foreign coming in to sort of live here. Uh, I didn't look for an apartment right now. I'm in like a sort of dorm that came with the program I'm a part of. So obviously it's not the cheapest thing in the world, but when I was looking beforehand at sort of a different apartment I can get, well, living prices seem pretty cheap. Obviously, I haven't looked at the wages, but I imagine if you wanted to live in like Taiwan more permanently, it wouldn't be that too much of an issue. So that is, I guess, about that. Uh, so I guess I'll call it here. Anyway, thanks you for listening. I hope this is the right length, because otherwise I'll have to redo this probably at some point. But I've never done like a blog before, so I don't know the exact standard for this thing. But anyway, Taiwan so far, good rating for me. See ya. See you next time, I suppose.